now live on Instagram, and here we are. We're live on YouTube. Oh, we got one watcher already. There's Corey Sayer.
All right.
Corey's in. Someone's watching on Patreon or on YouTube. Link. Wait, I gotta move this light.
All right.
You don't watch this. Do a little diffusion here.
Wow.
How's that look?
Professional.
Look at that diffusion here. So, hi everybody. Who's watching? Oh, we got Les here from Utah. We got Detroit watching.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Eric 13 interview with Mr. Nick Rossi. Is it working? Someone's watching. Let's see here. Oh, Miss Skellington's on. Miss Skellington is here. Okay, there we are. Nick, time delay. So we got YouTube Live, we've got Instagram Live, and then we've got a time delayed monitoring of ourselves on the laptop. Nick is amazed at the technology that I put together in the name of Patreon. I do it for you, my patrons, and now Nick is here with us.
This is truly something special.
So, Nick, say hello to the people here. We got Mike is watching. We got...
How's everybody doing? Oh, yeah, the real Mike.
The Mike is here.
Corey Sayer, hello.
We got two Arizonians.
Oh, two.
Can't believe Nick didn't get eaten by the shark.
It was a close
All right, so
call.
I'm going to go to the questions now. I'm going to go to the questions here.
And
We're going to get right into this, ladies and gentlemen. We got
like
a lot of questions. Our first installment of my interview series was with Howie, our vaunted guitar tech and former drum tech. But now here with Nick. And Nick, there seems to be a lot of interests in your role. In fact, I'm going to go in, and Nikki in Arizona, who I believe is watching. Nikki, are you with us? See you next week. Nikki asks, who is or was your inspiration to start drumming?
Oh, wow. Let me go way back to the beginning, Eric. My inspiration to start drumming, the very first inspiration to start drumming was Tommy Lee in his big cage. Went out over the audience and flipped around. I thought that was the coolest thing, and I wanted to do that and flip the drumsticks. And
now, did you see him in concert, or is this just MTV?
Just on the video, the Wild Side music video?
Wild Side
was the one. A friend of mine's father had it on VHS, and we had a half day of school one day, and he picked us up from school, and he brought us back to his house. And we were all hanging out, and he showed us Motley Crue music videos, and Wild Side hit me.
Wild Side it was.
Yeah.
Wild Side. Cool, for sure. So Tommy Lee. And then Misty, also in Arizona, asks, do you play any other instruments?
Besides the kazoo and the banjo, I also I play guitar a little bit. And I play bass a little bit, and I definitely don't sing.
You play bass a little bit?
I do play bass a little bit. That was actually my first instrument I ever learned.
What?
Yeah, I learned bass before any instrument. My best friend growing up and he got a guitar and I got a bass for Christmas one year, and we started taking lessons together. And so the first song I ever learned was Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Yeah, nice. We would go to this little guitar shop at a strip mall and take lessons from a guy named Todd Kenyon.
And where was this geographically?
In Phoenix, in Phoenix and in the North Valley.
So you grew up in Phoenix, Arizona.
That's correct. I was born and raised in Phoenix, and I moved to Los Angeles in 2014.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're still in LA.
I'm still in LA.
Still primarily in LA.
Yeah.
All right. Look at that. Right out of the gate. We're already learning.
I gotta give a shout out. I gotta give a shout out to who I live with in LA because he's a big fan of Eric's. Mr. Umi Kapila.
Oh shit!
I know he's not watching right now, but
he's here.
In spirit. In spirit.
He's here in spirit. And who all is watching? You know, we have two Arizonians tuning in at this very moment.
Two people. Who's from Arizona?
We have Miss Skellington and Evil E Queen, also known as Nikki and Misty, who will be seeing at some shows
at Club Red in Mesa.
I would assume we're going to see you Club Red. Now, I'm wondering if Adam is watching. Adam and Heather, are you tuned in right now? I did say, yeah, it's 11:34. Are you? So, today is our day off, as you know.
Oh, yeah.
And we are in Orlando, Florida at hotel, the Crown Royal Hotel. We've been laying by the pool. But one of our friends, who happens to be one of our patron brethren, Adam, is following the band around for 4 days. He was at the Atlanta show, skipped Fort Lauderdale. He's at, where did we play yesterday?
I think yesterday was Fort Lauderdale, and tomorrow's Tampa.
No,
Right?
we played...
Orlando?
No, we played in Tampa yesterday, Orlando tomorrow. Anyway, he's been at a couple shows, and he's actually staying
right.
at the hotel. We actually just had dinner together at the restaurant next to our hotel. But I can't believe you're not watching. Where are you at, man?
Yeah, Adam.
Come on, text him.
All right.
Why is he not tuning in?
All
Come
right,
on.
here we go.
Come
Let's
on,
see
man.
here.
You know why? He's at the bar with Andy and Greg. You maybe shouldn't text him, because
Oh,
Andy's gonna be watching our interview.
Here, I'm texting.
So no
right
one
now.
in the band actually can see these interviews. But let's move on. Shall we?
We
Nick?
just texted Adam, so let's move on
Yeah.
and see what else we can knock out.
Okay, so I have a question here from Les in Utah, and she wants.
By the way, thank you for the allergy medicine that you provided me in Salt Lake City. That was very sweet and generous.
It was, and she brought me some dry shampoo that I needed, which I still have. It's actually sitting in a suitcase.
Some really nice shampoo.
Really nice shampoo.
Dry
Les,
shampoo. Some
you went
bougie.
you went above and beyond. She went above and beyond. So
She
thank
did.
you from both of us. Let's get to Les's question. She asks, Nick, how many bands have you played with?
Oh man. Well, I've toured with 3 or 4. I've toured with New Year's Day, Combi Christ, and Frankie and the Studs.
And Frankie and the Studs.
Yeah, so 3. There we go.
So give us a little of the lineage of how you came to be in New Year's Day, which then on to Combi Christ and Frankie and the Studs. Tell everybody how that went.
I met you in 2014 when I was with New Year's Day, and we were opening for Combi Christ, and that was actually technically my first tour ever was in New Year's Day opening for Escape the Fate, but it was only 8 shows. It was a little tour. It was 10 days long or something like this, and so later that year, it was the first full tour, and we were opening for Combi Christ, and I was with New Year's Day from February of 2014 to August of 2015, and shortly after.
So this tour, wait, let me just about
That was a
tour.
good tour.
The New Year's Day Combi Christ tour was one of your first tours.
Yeah, it was
it's your
technically my
second.
first real
Okay.
full length tour. I had 8 shows before that, touring. But yeah, and so I met you guys, and we had a really good time on that tour.
It was a good tour.
It was a lot of fun.
We won't mention any of the other artists that were on that tour.
No.
Little controversial.
However, we came out unscathed and had a great time. And so I was with New Year's Day. My last tour with them was actually Warped Tour in 2015. I did the full Warped Tour, which I'm very happy to have done. It was a lot of fun. It was a really cool experience. And then I left New Year's Day and was doing my own thing for a while. And then Joe approached me with an opportunity to be the second drummer in Combi Christ. So
just for the record, I was lobbying. Joe wants to take all the credit, but I also...
Eric was monumental, if you will.
I would say
instrumental. Instrumental.
No pun intended.
Eric 13 played a key role.
Yeah, well, that's well said, Nick.
Played a key role in my joining Combi Christ.
Okay.
And so my first tour with them was the coolest thing you could ever ask for, because it was South America.
That was your first tour with Combi Christ?
That was my first tour playing with Combi Christ. The first show I ever played with Combi Christ was in Bogota, Colombia, and we didn't rehearse before then. We flew down, and I got on stage and we played a show, and it went pretty well.
Classic.
That was a gnarly few days. It was my first and only time I've been down there, and what a treat. You can't ask for anything more exotic and awesome than your first time playing with a band to be in Colombia. That's pretty. Yeah. That's something special.
There's rumors of another South American tour in perhaps winter. So it's just rumors.
Just rumors. Knock on wood, everybody.
So then, okay. So there's New
So,
Year's Day,
yeah.
Combi Christ, and then
And then, so it was, I got to do so many cool things with Comedy Christ and still continue to get to do them, such as go to Russia, been to Europe, how, 4 or 5 times now. I mean, like, just all sorts of cool stuff. We did a tour with Dope last spring. And when we got done with that tour, I'm friends with a guy on Facebook, and his name is Jorma Vic. He plays drums for Eagles of Death Metal, if any of you guys are familiar with them.
and formerly the Bronx.
And formerly the Bronx. So this
Is he a
band,
friend of yours?
we've never actually met. We're those weird like Facebook friends with mutual friends that we've each met in person. But the way that I got connected with Frankie and the Studs is the guy that produced the Bronx's very first record was Gilby Clarke, formerly of Guns N' Roses.
I didn't know that.
So that's how Jorma and Gilby met, and Jorma's done some work for Gilby in since the recording of that first record. Jorma had a cool Instagram or a Facebook post that said if anyone's looking for a gig in LA, I've got something. So I reached out to him, and I had no idea who the artist was, and it just so happened to be Frankie. And before I knew it, I was going over to Gilby Clarke's house and going in the recording studio where Jorma had done his record with the Bronx, and where another very favorite band of mine named Veins of Jenna had done some recording when they were in the States. And since then we've got to do some pretty cool stuff with Frankie, mostly around LA, but I just recently did my very first tour with her. It was a nice West Coast run with a band called The Long Shot, which has Billy Joe Armstrong is the singer for Green Day. So those shows, needless to say, were fucking awesome.
And for those who don't know, Gilby Clarke, if you don't know, is an American musician and guitar player and producer, obviously, but probably best known as the second guitar player in Guns N' Roses. When Izzy Stradlin left the band, Gilby became the second guitar player on the Use Your Illusion tour, the giant world tour that's, historic.
Pretty infamous.
Yeah, so it's pretty big deal. So you interact with Gilby directly.
Yeah, one of the weirdest things ever was I grew up watching one of the Use Your Illusion DVDs. My friend Zach and I met him when I was a freshman in high school, and we would go to his house every day after school, and we'd make a snack, and we would watch Use Your Illusion live in Tokyo, and then we would go play Guns N' Roses songs in the room in his house where there was all the musical instruments. His dad was a musician, so he had a room dedicated to it, which was super cool. So I grew up every day watching Gilby on TV when I would get off of school. And one of the first shows I played with Frankie was an EP release show, and the beater fell off of my kick drum pedal. So I'm playing this song, and then all of a sudden it flies off, and there's no more kick drum. There's just me doing the motions, but no sound is happening. And Gilby was the one standing closest to me off to the side of the stage, and I had to motion to him in the middle of the song, and I'd point down and show him what's going on, and it was a weird moment of me in the middle of a song playing for his daughter, and I look down, and this guy
Gilby Clarke, formerly of Guns N' Roses, is fixing
fixing my pedal, and I've watched this dude every day when I was growing up. Watching him live in this DVD that he was part of was monumental in me shaping what kind of bands that I wanted to be in, the music that I wrote with the bands that I was in, how I performed, and this dude is literally between my legs fixing my pedal as I'm playing a show. It was one of those weird, awesome moments.
That's funny.
Yeah,
That's funny
it was.
stuff. So it's funny. So it leads actually directly. The next question was, what was it like supporting the Long Shot, and how does it differ from Combi Christ gigs?
It was fucking awesome supporting the Long Shot. I actually get to go do 2 more shows with them on July 9th and 10th. So if you're in San Francisco on July 9th, we are going to be at Ricksaw Theater, and we're going to be at the Observatory in Santa Ana, California on the 10th. The gigs are wildly different. Well, they're different in terms of getting ready. In Combi Christ, I play stand-up drums, and with Frankie and the Studs, I sit down and play a regular drum kit. So while the warm-up is fairly similar and things like this, the shows themselves are a little different. With Combi Christ, we all wear in-ear monitors, and we have tracks that we're listening to that are coming out of the PA. With Frankie and the Studs, it's just us up there playing.
No click?
There's no click.
No
there's
click.
No nothing. So it's just I'm keeping time. I'm kind of the boss. And
Do you, Eric? Do you at least
no.
do your own click? You're
No.
not using a click.
No, all just.
Have you
straight.
thought about it, or is he insisting you don't?
They don't like it. They like to keep it. They like to keep it without a click.
I hate playing without a click.
Which I don't mind because it's a nice exercise in
Timing
and finding the pocket and sitting in and like looking at the other band members when you're on stage and like locking in with them, you know, like at different parts. It reminds me a lot of jamming with my friends when I was in high school, and which is you know, a lot of fun.
Yeah. So it's funny, before Comedy Christ, I never played with a click or in-ear monitors.
So
before
Sex Slaves
Comedy
never
Christ.
had that.
But the drummer played to a click.
Okay.
And I like that for their consistency.
Sure, that makes sense. That makes sense.
You know, so. And there's a follow-up question is, are you taller than Billy Joe?
I think we're like the same height which is so awesome because I rarely meet people that are my height. Well, like that. But yeah, we're about the same height.
About the same height.
Yeah.
About the same height. Okay, we have another question coming from Bristol, United Kingdom, from Emma Jones. Says, what is the bed bug situation on the Combi Christ tour bus?
Oh, that's a great question, Emma. Wow.
And are you checking it?
So far, so clean. I had a quick check at the beginning. These bunks are a little easier to check than a hotel bed.
Did you check your bunk when you got on the bus?
I checked my bunk when I got on the bus.
Did you?
Yeah, I did. Okay. It was a quick one. It was a lift up. You check under the seam of the mattress.
Did you do it in conjunction with the other drummer in the band?
No, we performed our bed bug searches at different times at the beginning of this.
So he doesn't check bed bugs with you anymore.
Well, it's
you know,
it was a mutual
inside joke. All right, let's move on. He's the same side. So no, but wait. Let's get to the conclusion. There's no bed bugs on the.
No bed bugs on the bus. We're clean, and we've had clean checks in every hotel that we've stayed in so far, which. We should note, give a hand to Eric for picking good hotels because he books the hotels for Comedy Christ. So Eric,
did you check this hotel? So Nick and I are sharing a room tonight.
I haven't checked this one yet.
Haven't checked this one.
I haven't slept in this bed yet. So
I took a serious nap.
Yeah,
today.
you did.
I feel pretty confident that there's no bed bugs here.
It would surprise me if there were. However, it doesn't hurt to check.
Will you check it tonight?
Oh, I'll check it tonight for sure.
Will you do a cursory check or will you do a full?
I will do a full sweep of the bed, of my bed this evening.
Okay. Gotta watch that shit in hotels. That's true, man. That's true. All right. Yeah, you're right. They'll kick you out.
Funny story
That's
about
how
that.
he got his name, Little Yellow.
You know? Should we tell it? I'll tell it real quick. So, we were in Louisville, Kentucky, and we were playing. Had a hotel right across the street. And the other bedbug boy and myself performed our normal bedbug check. We found what we believe to be bedbug feces, which would indicate that there's bedbug activity and that it's live and that it's been recent. So we went downstairs. We asked for a new room. We get the new room. Reluctantly, they gave us a new room. We get the new one. We find the exact same thing. So we go down again, and they refuse to give us a new room. And
Well, first of all, let me add, the hotel rooms are in my name.
Yes. So, unfortunately, Eric wound up getting called because the staff wasn't willing to provide us with a new room. We were refusing to stay in the rooms that had the bedbug poop in them for obvious and logical reasons. And he said
not only were they not going to give a refund, because they had dismantled the bed frame and stuff, they were going to charge them $500.
The deal was this. Joe struck a deal with the owner and manager, and they were going to call a pest control company, and if no bed bugs were found, we would get away scot-free. If they didn't find anything, we would have to pay the bill for the pest controls. We would have to pay the bill for coming out. If they did find something, we wouldn't have to pay the bill, which was obviously a terrible deal. If you were playing Deal or No Deal, I would definitely not take that deal.
Yeah. And it's Louisville. Adam, were you at that show? I think Adam was there.
He might have
as
been.
a matter of fact.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I get a call from the manager, and you know, I'm only going to imitate his voice just for effect of the story. There's no politically correct, but he says,
Right.
"Oh, this guy in the other room, little yellow, with the little yellow hair, yellow head, little yellow is breaking my room." And so that's how Nick became Little Yellow on that tour, which has morphed into Poco Amarillo. So that's one of
Little Yellow in Spanish. So yeah.
yeah, that's one of Nick's nicknames. So that's
if you're hanging around, you might hear me call Poco Amarillo. And that's
Yep. Ooh, controversial question coming from May in France, coming from Paris, France. And
leave it
says,
to the French.
do you prefer to play with Combi Christ or with Frankie and the Studs?
Oh, definitely. Wow.
Don't mind, pretend I'm not here.
The French stir in the pot. Truthfully, I love them both equally for completely different reasons. As I discussed earlier with the other question, they're so different. Standing up versus sitting down, playing to tracks in a click versus not playing to tracks in a click. Simply the show itself with Combi Christ is just completely different from a show with Frankie and the Studs. With Frankie and the Studs, we aren't normally headlining. The shows are much shorter. We're kind of zooming through songs. With Combi Christ, it's generally a headlining set. We're playing 2, 3, sometimes 4 times longer than a Frankie and the Studs set. So, and it includes a lot more talking. Being a headlining band versus opening, the crowds react differently because you might not be as well known by the people that are there. You're trying to win them over. However, both of them present different pros in my opinion. I really enjoy Combi Christ for how chaotic things can get on stage. What a crazy awesome release it is. I like being able to get a few drinks in me before we go on, and just sort of the atmosphere is very just light, and it's a party, and it's fun, and it's hanging out. And Frankie's also very fun and hanging out, but I won't drink before a set with Frankie and the Studs.
Oh, really?
No, only afterwards, just because I'm not playing to a click. I don't have something keeping meter for me, so
okay.
My head's in just a completely different spot with Frankie and the Studs. You know, I'm definitely still performing and having a great time, but it's it just requires you know different it just requires different
Skill set.
skills. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's our chat. You know, it seems each week we have a controversial question. Last week with Howie's interview
what was his?
do you prefer being a guitar tech for Eric or a drum tech for the other drummer?
What was his answer? Was it similar to
his
mine?
answer was he prefers being a guitar tech. And he said not because he was here, he said because it was new challenges for him. And he liked the new challenges. And it's not unlike, you know, it's similar to a question I get asked, like, what do I like to do better, Eric 13 or Combi Christ? And it's the same thing. They're both, you know, I'm lucky that I get to do these two wildly different things. So I get a lot of different types of artistic release. So it seems like really the same thing for you and Frankie and the Studs.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's different personalities. It's different. You know, just the environment is different. It's fun. It's definitely provides different challenges.
Cool. Thank you, France. Thank you,
Yeah,
May.
thank you.
Okay, this
Cheers.
next question comes from Julia in Deutschland. Not only is she from Deutschland, she is from just outside of Lichtenfels.
Wow, you don't say.
Which is where I live in Germany, and the area in Germany, it's called Franconia. So her question says, you visited Franken last year. How did you enjoy it? And what did you like the most?
Ooh, okay. When you say Franken, the thing that comes to mind first and foremost is when we went to the top, we climbed to the top of a hill with a big old church on it, and there's a flag up there. Staffelberg.
Yeah.
And there's a flag up there, and there's a really awesome and funny photo
of me and Brent pretending to throw Nick off the cliff.
Yeah.
And it's funny that you asked that because that was her question. She just posted on Instagram she was at Staffelberg today. Today on her Instagram she was there. So Julia, Nick was there. So that was your favorite part. It is amazing.
And taking the cool pictures because you know the flagpole was on this little piece of rock out in the middle. You kind of had to climb up. That was good. And last summer we Brent and I got to stay with you in Lichtenfels for a couple of weeks, and it was a blast.
It was a wild time.
It
was funny because it's a small, kind of sleepy village. We're like, what are we going to do for 2 weeks? but there were so many. It was Winefest because it's
Yeah.
Winefest right now. It's
Oh,
Winefest right
that's-
now. So it was exactly a year ago.
I keep getting all the updates on my Facebook of the, a year ago today.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was a year ago today that 13 Heiligen
13 Heiligen.
played
Really?
our
I
debut
forgot,
show.
that Nick and I had another band.
Yeah, we did.
So it was Nick, Brent, and I in 13 Heiligen.
That's right. And we played our debut show at Paunchy Cats.
Our debut and only show.
That's
to,
right.
To date.
That's right.
We are working on a second record, even though we haven't recorded our first yet. We're already
working on the sequel.
Yeah. And then, actually, there's a third part to our question. Can you speak any German?
Oh, no, I can't speak any German. Just what...
Nothing. Not even any words. You have a couple words?
I can... Danke schön.
All right. All right. Franken. We have another question from May in French. She says, can you tell us a funny story about Eric? Now, this is a PG...
Okay.
PG-13.
That's good. That helps to narrow it down a little bit. A funny story about Eric. Man, I'm trying.
I mean, I'm pretty tame.
I'm
pretty tame on tour. It's not a lot of crazy stuff happening.
Let's think.
Oh,
man, I'm.
Oh man. Let's see. What?
I'm trying to.
I'm trying to think of a funny story.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a funny story about me. That's a funny story.
That's.
It's funny you should ask.
Hold on. Let me consult the cellular phone because I might have a photo in here maybe of something that might jog a memory. Here's the thing. There's often a lot of consumption of alcohol in and around Combi Christ shows. So while there might be some funny stories in my head, sometimes they require a little jogging. Oh man.
In the meantime, while Nick is checking, I want to point out that Mike is watching, and so Mike is one of our patron brethren, and Mike, as you may have seen in some of my posts, came out on the road with Combi Christ last week. Seems like when was that? So it was New York, Philadelphia, Boston, and in the capacity of an auxiliary stage tech. So he wasn't there just fun. Adam says he has some funny Eric stories. Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Mike was out with us, and Mike was on the bus. Mike, do you have any funny stories? Adam, you have funny stories? So Mike, Mike, I need your questions. I actually can't access my Instagram while we're recording. So if you want to put one of your questions in here in the Instagram stream or add it to the Patreon post, I'm sure Nick will be happy to answer your questions.
I do have a story. The photo's not on my phone here, but I have a good one.
Okay.
I mean, it's okay. I mean, nah, it's just not good enough. I need to find something else. Eric, you've always been such a jokester.
Me?
Yes.
A jokester? But I'm so serious.
A bit of a prank.
I'm so serious.
There's one specific thing that comes to mind when we were when I was in on New Year's Day opening for Combi Christ, and somehow you had gotten a hold of one of Ash Costello's wigs.
Oh my god.
And we
So the singer of New Year's Day, this emo female singer, Ash Costello, is most well known, not for her music, but for her striking half red, half black hairstyle.
Yeah, and you somehow got a hold of a wig that was half black and half red. Like they were selling them at some Halloween store or something like that, and you picked one up. And I'll never forget getting to the venue with New Year's Day, and walking inside. And normally when we would get there, Combi Christ would be sound checking, and so we walk in, and Eric's in this fucking wig, sound checking like everything's fine and normal, and like nothing's, And I just remember just dying, like. That was just really funny to walk into. There are so many stories like that, man.
Maybe they'll come back, A bit of a jokester, he says.
A bit of a jokester.
You don't say.
A bit of a jokester, a bit of a prankster.
What's the last joke I pulled? The last joke I pulled would be on Wednesday. hold on there, Mike. Is I did pull a pretty good joke on the tour manager of Wednesday 13 yesterday. So every day we print out a schedule. You've seen me post these, and Wednesday 13 gets 45 minutes set every day. And so he texted me, and he said, "Hey, I see on the schedule that you only have it written down that Wednesday has 40 minutes. Is this a typo?" And I just wrote back, "Cut Serpent Society," which is the name of one of the, did I tell you this?
No.
Yeah. So I'm totally joking, but so if there's ever a time crunch or something, you have to cut a song. So yesterday, for example, we were behind time. So the 3 opening bands, I had to say, "Hey, you guys got to cut one song out of your set tonight. Instead of playing 30 minutes, you have to play 25 minutes." Now, I wouldn't do that to Wednesday because they're the direct support and, more established band. But I was messing with the tour manager, and I said, "Cut one song." Not only did I say cut one song, I said, "Cut Serpent Society." And he just didn't respond. So like 20 minutes later, I texted him, like, "I was joking, right?" And he's like, "I couldn't actually tell." And I didn't want to push it. I didn't want to piss you off.
That makes so much
I
sense.
feel like I got him so good.
There was one point where I was walking out. I was walking from the backstage to the bus, and I saw Wednesday talking to him, and I heard him say, "But we always get 45 minutes." And I like heard that in passing. I was like, I wonder what he's talking about. Like I heard that we were behind, but like, that's hilarious.
Oops,
man.
sorry.
There's a lot of little things that you'll do, and I would say that I can think of more times where you just did something like a little jab, or that it was funny versus like very specific stories. Like when you print off the day sheets every day, you have a little quote at the bottom, and it'll be an inspirational quote or a riddle or a joke of some sort, and those are fucking hilarious. Or when we had Morgan Rose and Turquoise Jeep come out to the show.
Yeah, that is a good one.
You know what I mean? Like he had a sign hanging up
May.
outside of our bus that said we welcome Turquoise Jeep, but Jeep was spelled wrong. It was Jepe and then Snevendust.
Yeah.
So Eric more so just finds little ways to make you laugh when he's more or less not around than an actual funny story.
I really don't get to always enjoy the payoff.
Yeah.
But I know.
Like, you'll be walking by and be like, "Oh my God, Eric fucking did that, and he was goofing around and he got me," and he's not around, and then you tell him 30 minutes later when you see him.
Yeah. So actually, May, whose question that was, looks like May just joined in. Hi, May.
Oh, hello, May.
Bonjour. She's in France.
Oh, France
Bonjour.
as well.
So that was your question, May. I'm gonna move back. So Emma, actually, wait. Let's get to Mike's question here.
Okay.
Mike, I'm the real Mike in New Jersey asks,
Ooh.
Nick Rossi, what drum manufacturer do you like and why?
Oh. I like drums that sound good. So just any of those. With Frankie the Studs, I play my own kit, which is a PDP kit, which is a brand by DW. So obviously DW makes great drums, but I've also got to play some really cool drums at Gilby's house. He has a set of Ludwigs that sound really fucking awesome. Every kit sounds a little bit different and cool. I love my PDP kit. Everyone compliments how cool it looks, and I've had the thing for. It's like the Ringo oyster finish.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that, but it's black and gray. So it's
okay.
just like a little bit darker.
But
yeah, I played a ton of kits that sound great. It's kind of whatever sounds good. But I'll tell you this, I'm very into Ludwig right now because right before this Frankie tour started, I wanted to get a new snare drum, and I reached out to my drum teacher Dave Elich, and I told him what my budget was, and he found a drum for me that was in my price range, and it was a Ludwig Superphonic. They call it the John Bonham Special.
And did you purchase it?
I did purchase it, and it was the first time in a long time that I purchased a new piece of musical gear, and it like just the sound of it. It sounded so good when I got it, and Dave had it tuned up really nice. He put brand new heads on it, new snare wires, and he had it cleaned up and really awesome, and it just sounded so fucking good that like when I got it back to my studio, it totally inspired multiple practices where I just went off the rails for a long time.
That's good.
And it was interesting. It reminded me of when I was a kid and I would, get a new instrument for Christmas or something when I was a teenager, and how it would just inspire a ton,
Messing with the lights here, sorry. Testing a new light. I just got a new ring light.
Ooh. Crucial for those selfies.
3-level ring light. So when I do a selfie, I'm gonna be like this.
And just like that, you're an internationally published model.
I'm an internationally published model. Mike says he has a 79 Ludwig, and it's sick.
There you go.
There you go, Mike. All right, let's move back here to the questions here. Do you have any pre-show rituals?
Ooh.
Tell us about them.
Yeah. So, stretching is definitely part of a pre-show ritual.
And in what way? You're stretching your drum hands, your arms, your legs?
Yeah. I kind of do everything. I
Sit-ups, push-ups?
I sit down and stretch my legs out. There's a couple of stretches I do for my wrists, like pulling it back like this and bending it forward like that. And
do you ever do the one called killing the cat?
Yeah, and I do that a few times a day. It really keeps me loose.
And light. It keeps you kind of light on your toes.
Loose and light.
Loose and light.
Loose and light. It's just how you want to be.
That should be your tagline.
Tell you what,
Nick
follow
Rossi
me on
drums,
Instagram, and
loose
you'll start finding a hashtag loose and light.
Loose and light
on everything that I post.
And what is your Instagram? The Nick Rossi.
At the Nick Rossi.
At the Nick Rossi.
That's right.
Yeah.
I've had that profile for quite some time.
In fact, I think you have the most amount of followers in the band.
But it's been going down. It's really funny. Yeah. So, a lot of these followers are New Year's Day fans, and I got them when I was in that band. So, I noticed that when I left that band and stopped making posts about New Year's Day, that the engagement and the interactions dropped off pretty significantly. And since then, I've been losing some followers. But I think that's fine, because I would rather have people who want to be there anyway.
Quality, not quantity, it has been said.
Yeah, that's the key.
But I bet you Cammie Adams still follows you.
Indeed, she does.
She still does.
She was the one in South America, right?
Yeah.
That's right. I remember her at the shows.
Half-head herself.
That's right.
Yeah. And actually, interesting note, I don't know if any of you guys noticed, I just passed 10,000 followers.
I noticed that. You were looking for that.
Yeah.
You were
I was
looking
hoping
for
to
that.
pass that. Just
Good job.
Because I'm trying to get the swipe up feature going.
Well, it would sure help a lot of these folks, these fine folks.
Wouldn't it help?
I know that.
But I couldn't do it from this account. This is a
appreciate it.
private. This is the @RuneArmy account. But the Eric 13,000 did just pass 10,000. Thank you.
Make sure you.
But
follow that
this is an
Eric
interview
13.
about Nick. This is not about me. This is about learning about Nick Rossi and sharing with our patron family here.
And the nice thing is, I've met most of you. So hello, everybody.
Yeah, most of you know Nick.
Most of you, I've met.
And as I said, so the idea of this interview series when I started this was to my followers, my patrons, are aware of the people in my sphere of, and they know the characters of the play.
Right.
So they know, they're Combi Christ fans, they're Eric fans, but they're, they've seen Drystein Heiligen, they know Nick, they see photos, and this is a chance for these people to really to get to know you, to get a little more history, and in both cases, with Howie and with Nick, we've learned something. I've learned something.
I hope so.
I've
learned something about you today, and that's the beauty of these things. And that's the beauty of these things. Yeah.
So, in fact, we're going to move down. We have another question here.
Good.
Also coming out of the UK, and is, have you ever seen a ghost?
Oh. I'm trying to think. Well, there's one thing that comes to mind. Two things that come to mind. My first two tours with New Year's Day. The first one, like I said, was a West Coast tour with Escape the Fate, and I remember we had a night off and we stayed in a town called Ogden, Utah.
Ogden, Utah.
I'm sure Les is familiar with it.
Les, are you familiar with Ogden, Utah?
She lives in Salt Lake, and it is about 20 miles north of Salt Lake. And we stayed in this really cool old hotel there. And it was one of the creepiest hotel experiences I've ever had. Now, I'll preface this with saying I've never seen a ghost that I can recall. However, I experienced some very
Would you say you experienced paranormal activity?
Yeah, I think you could say that. So, I remember the 13th, there was, okay, so first of all, I don't know if you guys know this, but if you go to any hotel or big office building, many of them don't have a 13th floor in the elevator. They leave that out.
I don't believe in this.
There's technically a 13th floor, but it's 14, and they name it that. This specific hotel was built, I think, late 1800s or early 1900s, and it still had a 13th floor. So we went up there just joking around or whatever. Well, we had heard, we went on Google and Googled this hotel and found out some cool ghost stories that had happened there, and, well, not cool, but people dying in the hotel and people reporting
just regular cool stories.
Just regular story, so people dying in the hotel and people reporting paranormal activity. So we heard that, or we had read that that a woman had tragically passed away on the 9th floor.
On the 9th floor?
On the 9th floor.
Oh.
And that if you go late at night and into the specific area, many people have heard a woman walking around. They've seen a woman walking in the hall, or they hear a knocking, or sometimes the staff. The staff at the hotel had reported getting phone calls from the room that she passed away in, and when no one was staying in the room, things like this. So we went to the 9th floor, and when the door, normally at a hotel there's doors in front of the elevator. So these doors were shut and locked, as if the whole floor was off limits. The lights were off. You couldn't open these doors. It was the weird. I've never seen this. Never seen this. And then later that night, so we all went to bed, and our tour manager, when we woke up in the morning, had said that she was woken up by knocking on the door and sounds of knocking going down the hallway, and I myself heard dripping coming from our bathtub. Oh. And one of the victims of the hotel had drowned.
Perhaps it was a water ghost dripping out the faucet, or perhaps it was just a bad seal.
It could have been either one.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
That
However, that's a good one, Adam. That's a good one. Adam says he had an elevator in Boston stop. The screen said 13, but there was no 13 button.
Shit's going on out there, people.
And May asked the question, the bed bugs. Unfortunately, May, we've already discussed the bed bug situation. You're going to have to watch the replay here on Patreon once we're done.
You can get the full scoop.
Yeah. And I'd like to ask you guys watching, if you're watching live, let's comment here on Instagram, or comment on Patreon if you're watching this in replay. Have you seen a ghost?
Yeah.
And actually, well, let's ask this. It's really 2 parts. Have you seen a ghost? Do you believe in ghosts?
There you go. Do you believe in ghosts?
Do you believe in ghosts? I'm asking you.
Man, I've experienced some goofy stuff. I would say, yeah, I believe in ghosts, man.
You believe in ghosts?
Yeah, totally.
Do you believe in Santa Claus?
100%. Without a doubt.
You know, I gotta say, I did not believe in ghosts, and I had what I would call paranormal activity myself
do tell.
In my father's house. So a couple things. So the house I grew up in as a child was the house that my mother grew up in as a child. And in 1977, this is actually sad, some of you may know this, the house burned down.
No
way.
There
was a fire, and actually my great aunt lost her life in the fire. My Aunt Margaret, and my grandmother, whose name was Alice, from then on had some issues and had to move to a home. That's another story. But some of the back rooms of the house, so it burnt in the front bedroom, and the roof collapsed in on the whole house. So in 1978, my dad actually rebuilt the whole house.
Damn.
And we moved back in. But some of the back bedrooms, one of which is my bedroom, they didn't totally redo, and the closets have fire damage still inside. And we've actually, the house is so old, it's a small closet that we blocked it with like an IKEA style closet, so you can never access it. So I was lying in bed in that room, and I woke up at about 5:30 in the morning. It's interesting because I had a jacket hanging, a long jacket, not unlike a trench coat. And I saw it, and I woke up, and I saw a figure move across the room. And it was, I would describe it as translucent.
No
And you
shit.
could see through it.
Really?
And turn, it wasn't a full body form, and then go outdoor. And I looked, and I was like, am I looking at the jacket? But the jacket was something distinct, and I can't describe what it is. I guess that's not directly related to the fire, because I wouldn't assign a gender to
The
you know, and I don't know
apparition.
the
that you
apparition,
saw?
if you will, because I can't.
Yeah.
I couldn't definitively say I believe in ghosts.
Even after this.
Even after this, I can't definitively say. I can't describe it, but I would describe it that I experienced some paranormal activity that I can't explain.
Yeah, that's how I felt in that hotel.
How about you guys?
Yeah, please let us know. Let's
Never
see.
seen one.
But
Not sure. Never seen a ghost, but they're creepy places. Yeah. Not. See, we have evidence of. You have evidence of a ghost.
Damn.
You have evidence of a ghost. How would you describe? Can you describe the ruckus?
Yeah. So.
All right, I want to
Tell-
hear you. I want to
tell
hear
us
in the
your
comments.
stories.
I want to hear in the comments. I want you to comment on Patreon. Oh, in fact, well, what's interesting is Mike is a ghost hunter.
No
We're gonna have to address
way.
this separately. Mike, next time
I
you're out
didn't
on
know
tour,
that.
Mike is a ghost hunter. He's actually purchased, if I may, Mike, an extensive amount of equipment, Geiger counters and readings, and plutonium cells, and all sorts of crazy stuff. You have a recording saying "Touch that girl." Wait, this is ghost stuff, or this was on Comedy Christ Tour Bus? All right, we're going to move on. I want to hear about it. I want to hear about it in the comments. We're going to address that later. We're going to move down. And actually, May, here's one of your questions is, how old were you, Nick, when you started drumming?
I was 14. I was 14 years old.
14 years
yeah.
old. And this was after the Tommy Lee video.
This was after the Tommy Lee video was when I was like 11 or 12. I kind of, so this is what I would do. My parents wouldn't let me have a drum kit when I was a kid. My mom, for a job, she ran a daycare business out of the house that I grew up in, which was in a very nice little suburban neighborhood of Phoenix. However, it was not a large house at all. So there were a lot of time restrictions, and my mother often needed to use my room to let kids nap and things like this. So playing drums in a daycare, you know what I mean? It doesn't quite. So
Nick, can little Danny take a nap in your room? Yeah, Mom.
I'm not even kidding. When I was 16 years old, I had a friend. I don't know if any of you wonderful patrons are familiar with Thrifty Ice Cream, but it is a wonderful ice cream brand from California that they sell in Rite Aid out there. So a good friend of mine growing up, his dad had the exclusive distributorship license for Thrifty Ice Cream in the state of Arizona. So any of it that came into the state went through his warehouse. And when I was like 12, 13, 14 years old, my friend and I would go work there in the summer. So I saved up a bunch of money one summer, and I wanted to buy a computer so I could start recording myself. So I went down to Guitar Center, and I bought a cool iMac that's set up on the desk, and they hooked me up with all the software, and they did all the things, and got me a little interface and showed me how to use it, and I got everything set up. And a kid went into my mom's room and got out of the playpen, grabbed a hold of a Sharpie, and colored in brown Sharpie all over my $1,200 iMac that I had just worked all summer to afford.
I would have taken the belt off right there.
However, all right, I digress, obviously. But so coming back to the drums, I was playing bass in a band, and the drums just looked so damn fun.
And what was the band called?
It was a really dumb name, man. The band was called Tanicus.
Oh.
Tanicus.
Tanicus. And
Yeah.
what does that mean?
I don't know. So we had a friend who was in college, and his girlfriend at the time was studying writing, and she was doing creative writing, and she was writing like novels.
Mm-hmm.
And she had gotten this name out of like a character name book. She was writing like fantasy novels, and so we were 14 and thought it sounded cool. So anyway,
I believe that's one of the Roman emperors.
Is it really?
Copernicus,
It sounds like
you
it.
will ascend to the throne upon the death of Julius Gaius Caesar. The emperor is dead. Long live Emperor Titannicus.
There you go. So it was a Roman emperor. But I remember sitting there and watching the drummer and being like, that looks really cool. And another friend of mine had a set of drums at his house.
If you could go back in time,
Yeah.
would you do it again, or would you stick with the bass?
I'd totally do it again. Drums
You
are
would
just
totally
too
do it
goddamn
again.
fun, man.
You would totally do it
Just
again.
too damn fun.
Okay. All right. Now, another question coming from friends. What did you study if in university? I don't know. And what job did you do before you became a professional drummer?
I played music all through high school, and then when I got done with high school, I said, "Fuck it," and I went to school to be an optometrist.
What?
Yeah, for a couple of years. I have an associate's degree, and I bounce around a lot, but I started out doing pre-med to go to optometry school.
Pre-med.
Yeah, so I was taking a lot of biology and math.
Dr. Nick Rossi, MD.
I fucking hated it with a passion. And it was funny how if you look at the courses that I took each semester, they slowly but surely got more creative, and by it took me 5 semesters to complete my my associate's degree, and by the 5th semester, the first semester I'm taking biology and math, and I'm going for pre-med, and by the 5th semester I was playing drums in the jazz band, and I was in a percussion ensemble. Then I was studying music history and music theory, and yeah.
Dr. Nick Rossi.
Dr. Rossi. I like the sound of that.
Dr. Rossi, to the emergency room, please.
To be honest with you, I really just, if you guys have ever been to the eye doctor, they do the thing where they put the thing on your face, and they go, 1 or 2.
Yeah.
1 and I just always thought, I could fucking do that. It seems easy. I've had to wear glasses my whole life.
Do your studies in optometry, do you ever draw upon that knowledge in your life now?
Yeah, when I'm measuring, no, I don't know, man. No.
All right. So, Mike, you had emailed me a couple questions. As I said, I can't access them from while broadcasting on Instagram.
Maybe Mike texted them to me.
I can't access them. If you'd like to text one, or Mike, just put it right on the screen right now. Go for it.
Oh my God. Okay, I have to tell this story because Rachel just reminded me of this. I have a funny Eric story.
And Rachel reminded you.
And Rachel reminded me of it. And this story,
wait, Rachel's watching?
I think she is.
Hi,
Rachel, are you still watching? Hi.
Yeah.
I love you.
All right. So let's hear the funny Eric story.
So
I'm curious what this is.
We were backstage in Denver and we were all dancing. There was a turntable back there, and they had some records, and we were all getting ready for the show, and we found some really great funk records, and we put those on, and everyone was dancing. And Eric was, to describe it best, cutting a rug. I would say.
Now, what's interesting is that I actually described this day in a previous Patreon travelogue blog post.
Did you?
Of how.
Did you say the line?
I didn't say the line.
He knows what I'm talking about.
But I did mention that we were listening to Kool and the Gang on vinyl.
Yeah.
It's Kool and the Gang on vinyl. We were listening to some giant. Then it was Kool and the Gang and Cameo.
Mm-hmm.
But go on. I don't mean to interrupt.
So, Eric is cutting a rug out there. He's showing everybody how it's done, and everyone is watching. Everyone's on the edge of their seat. He's even gotten a few people to get up and join him.
It was a party. We were making a party.
It was a great party, and somebody from across the room asked Eric, what did you take? Eric spins around and retorts with, a nap. I took a nap. And in the moment, it was fucking hilarious, man. It was so good. Thank you for reminding me of that, babe. That was
there you go.
That was a good story.
That would make it. Yeah.
That's a fantastic
What did you
one.
take?
That was brilliant.
Took a nap.
This is amazing.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Oh, so Adam was down at the bar, is what he said.
Ah.
So
is anyone watching?
is it? I'm gonna ask him what his questions are.
So
Send
it's
your
funny.
questions here.
Someone watching this right now is actually in the same hotel with us.
Yeah.
Down at the bar.
And he
You
came.
know, obviously this is private. No one in Combi Christ can actually see this. Howie actually has yet to see his own video. I'm debating at some point if I should allow these interviews to go public, or do we want to just, you know what, this is just for us. This is just for the Patreon.
Yeah, for
family.
the time being.
It's for the Patreon
exclusive.
Family. So Mike, here's your chance, and I'm opening the floor now to any other questions. We have been going, so we're gonna stick to our hour-long Instagram limit. We are actually at 55 minutes.
Wow.
Time flies when you're having fun with Nick Rossi.
Yeah, that didn't feel like that at all. I don't know about you guys.
That was the original phrase, you know, back in the day. It used to be "time flies when you're having fun with Nick Rossi."
Yeah.
And it's since been
cut down as things do.
Yeah, just us. You know what? Just us. This is just for
I agree.
Patreon.
Yeah.
This is just for us.
Yeah, we'll keep it here.
And I'm debating who to interview next.
Ooh, let's brainstorm that.
Who should I interview next?
Let's hear it from the patrons.
Who would you like
Let's
to-
hear some suggestions.
Dr. Rossi.
Dr. Rossi.
Dr. Rossi.
Ooh, I'm
You
know who would be a good one, I think? Keith the bus driver.
Keith the bus driver.
I'll bet you that guy's got some fucking awesome stories, dude.
You know what?
I'll bet you that guy has some great stories.
I knew you were going to say Andy. Andy, I want to work it up to Andy.
Yeah.
So I feel like with each interview, we're dialing it in. You know, Andy, this is the fact, he doesn't really like interviews.
He rarely does them on the
Rarely
road
does interviews.
with Combi Crest.
I probably could, I might be able to twist his arm, but I don't know, maybe not. Yes, Keith.
Keith
Mike
would be a
has
really
met.
good
Keith is a character, man.
He's really
And
good.
if you happen to see Andy's Instagram post, or if you saw the Combi Christ Instagram post of me and Will at the pool, I mean, not me and Will, me and Nick at the pool, when you see the guy photobombing us in the back, that's our driver, Keith. He's a really good guy.
He's the best. And or another good one would be Nightclub.
Ooh.
I think they would have.
So Andy's going to be difficult, and the other drummer is going to be difficult.
Yeah.
I really, you know what?
But I'll tell you what. You know what, guys? There's a lot of other interesting people out there besides those
I feel like
two.
that's too simple. Everybody interviews Andy. You can read any.
You can go on YouTube and find a ton of stuff with the other drummer and Andy.
Yeah.
However,
who needs that?
We only have limited access to Keith for the rest of this tour. After that,
Like
everyone kind of goes their separate ways.
That was an exclusive. That was
that's a good
Howie's
one.
first ever interview. It was an exclusive here on Patreon.
And I'll tell you all something from touring with Howie since 2014. He doesn't speak a lot. You guys probably got a lot of golden nuggets in there. I bet you guys got a lot of golden nuggets.
The Howie interview was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Did you know, I'm going to share with Nick one of the things. Did you know that Howie was going to be a police officer?
What?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, that makes a lot of sense because he has a mustache. He definitely has the mustache to be a police officer in Boston.
So it looks
I
like
can see that.
Keith and Will are our top two guys. So, I'm going to speak with them both.
Yeah.
And see if they'd like to join
Will would be another good
the
one.
Eric 13 Patreon Interview Hall of Fame.
Damn.
Because once you get interviewed, you're automatically in the Hall of Fame. But just by being interviewed is as if you're being presented as the Eric 13 Hall of Fame.
You're in good company.
So, Nick, I'd like to congratulate you on being in the Eric 13 Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
Well earned.
I heard that we're getting jackets
Yeah.
sent at
Yep,
some
you will be
point,
getting
yeah?
a multicolored sequined jacket, much like the one in the photo.
From I Need More.
Yeah, from I Need More.
Go follow that brand, guy.
Yeah.
That's that store. It's
So
fantastic.
on that note, if there's no last questions here, we're going to wrap it up here. This actually is our day off, so I'd like to thank Nick for giving up some of his time on his day off, on our day off, because I'll tell you right now, we're really needed this day off.
Oh yeah.
I've done 3 things today: sleep, take a nap, go in the pool, and eat dinner. Is the only 3 things I've done today.
Dude, I just ate way too much at that restaurant.
Elliot. Oh, and Emma's here. Emma, where did you come from?
Oh.
Late arrival. Have you been here the whole time? Yeah, I'll tell you what
Elliot
we're
would
gonna
be
do.
a good one.
Elliot would be interesting. Elliot's,
He's a tough
I
egg
feel like
to
you would,
crack.
yeah, I feel like you would really learn something. Oh, look at that. We got 27 seconds left on this Instagram broadcast. The hour is going to come to a close.
Countdown is
If you want to, I'm willing to take one bonus question
something we can answer
on
real quick.
YouTube. I'm going to answer it on the Patreon page. We got 10 seconds.
Anything from anybody.
So I'd like to thank you guys all for tuning in. You can watch the replay on Patreon. We're going to stay on live on YouTube for another couple minutes. We'll see you next time.
Dang, that was perfect.
But we're still here. We're still over here on
not
YouTube.
over yet.
It's not over. It ain't over till it's over.
Till it's over.
You know what Lenny Kravitz? So many tears, man. So you know what? This is a Patreon exclusive. So this is my new Fujifilm Insta-X Mini 70 camera, which I'm going to turn on right now. And here's what I'm going to do. We're going to commemorate this interview with a selfie. Nick, I don't know if you've seen this. It actually has a selfie mirror.
Look at that.
Selfie mirror. And this is some new film. And I would like to thank Emma for purchasing this film.
Is this the black film?
This is not the black film. You know what? Actually, I don't even know what film is in here at the moment. So it's good. Nick and I are going to take a picture right now commemorating. You know what? I want you guys to see it. Wait, can you see it? You're behind me. There you go. Watch it come out, people.
Ooh, look at this. It's just like the olden days.
Oh, this is the sky blue. Whoa.
Ooh.
And you know what they say? Shake it, shake it, shake it.
Like
shake it.
The Taylor Swift song?
Yeah. So, by virtue of Emma purchasing this photo, she's going to get the first photo.
Thanks, Emma.
And then, whoever asks the next question on Patreon, we're going to do one more. Actually, let's see how this one turns out.
Right.
I don't even know if this is color or black and white, to be honest. In fact, what we're going to do is we're going to let it, oh, no, there's no way to do that. I'm going to let it develop right in front of your eyes.
Maybe could you set it on that?
Oh,
look at that!
Look at Nick. Is it too bright, though? It might be a little too bright. I feel like this light is a little bright.
Maybe the lamp is.
Let's see. Let's go with a little softer light, shall we?
You're watching it develop with us.
You are here. It's as if saved. Oh, my phone doesn't have enough space to save the entire video. Okay.
Damn.
So that's going on the replay in...
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
There it is. Wait. It's a weird light here, guys. It's hard to get... Oh!
Oh, no.
There it
You
is.
can see it coming in.
There it is. There is our new... We're going to snap a couple more. We're going to snap a couple more. And if you'd like to learn more about Nick, you can go to his Instagram page, The Nick Rossi, at The Nick Rossi. I'm going to snap one more of these off with a softer light. Let's try a different angle.
Oh, we were doing
Ooh, there it
faces on
comes.
that one. Look at that. These things are so damn cool.
Ooh.
Ooh-wee.
Shake it. Shake it.
This one's coming in nice.
Yeah, this one's coming in nice.
Look at that. Oh,
Yeah, it's a hard
the
light.
glare is gnarly.
Yeah, the glare is gnarly, but...
Our faces are gone. It looks great over
You
here.
know what? I'm going to refresh the Patreon page and see if anybody's... I'm going to make one last comment. Is the lens feature... Oh, we got one like here.
Ah.
From Les. The lens feature, they just announced today that Patreon Lens, which is like Instagram story, now has the ability to have comments. Remember, we were all kind of, not complaining, but had noticed that before. And here's another photo. I'm going to get one of just Nick commemorating his involvement here. Well, wait,
oh, man, all
we
right.
might have one more. We got a new comment on Patreon. Let's see if that's a bonus question. This is bonus Patreon time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, here we go. This is a good one, too. What's your best advice for a new musician starting out? While you do that, I'm going to take your picture.
All right.
I'm photographing Nick talking. Okay, be natural.
Okay. What's going to happen is I'm going to be talking, and he's going to take a picture, and it's going to be like...
just look.
You know?
Just look. Give me a hand motion.
All right.
No. Give me no, give me oh, okay, there you go. Normal. Normal.
What's normal?
Just be you. Just be you, man. Be you. Wait, here's how Nick normally is. Wait, I got a great idea. Watch this.
All right, this is good.
Let's see if it worked.
Oh, damn.
This thing's great.
That's awesome.
Okay, so let's answer the question while this last third picture's coming. That's a good one.
That's a good one.
You know, we might have to
Dude, I
snap a
love
couple,
these things.
Yeah, we're gonna snap a couple. You know what? I need one for the Wall of Fame. I'm keeping this one for the Wall.
Oh yeah,
this one is. I'm keeping this one for my Wall of Fame. I'm gonna give away this one, and Nick needs one. Nick needs.
Yeah,
one
I gotta
too.
keep one.
Nick gets to keep one.
Look
too.
out on the gram for one of those.
So let's let him answer the question. What's your best advice for a new musician starting?
It's gonna listen. Cliches are cliche for a reason. It's because it's generally pretty damn good advice. So my best advice is just it's gonna be really hard work. So just do it. Just get up and do your thing every day. Get up and play your instrument. If you work really hard and you're a cool person, some cool shit will happen. But you just gotta get up and do it every day. Just some days it's gonna suck. It's like going to the gym sometimes. You know, you just gotta get up and do it.
That's good advice,
Yeah,
man.
so
this photo looks cool.
Whoa. Yeah, this is cool.
That's a good one. We need to try that one again.
All right, let's try this.
You know what?
again.
I'm gonna let Nick.
I'm gonna take this one.
We're gonna let Nick take
Is it
a
this
picture.
photo? Is it this button?
Yeah.
All right.
Wait. The flash is on. Maybe we should turn the flash on.
How do we do that? Here?
Nope, it's off.
It is off?
Yeah.
All right, ready?
I say put it right up on this thing. Let's
I'm
try
gonna,
this again.
I'm gonna do a Terry Matlin pose.
Ooh, Terry Matlin.
This one's for Terry Matlin. Ready?
Yeah. Go closer. Go closer.
Oh, right here, like this.
Yeah, but don't block yourself. Yeah.
All right, ready? Look at that.
Let's see if this worked.
Oh,
All right,
shit.
this one's a little washed out.
Did it flash?
Did that flash? Are you guys watching? All right, I think we're gonna wrap it up here, folks. So thank you so much.
Thanks, Les, for the
watching.
bonus question.
Yeah, 66 minutes. Thanks, Nick, for being with us. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And we'll be back with next week. It's gonna be a surprise. I have to ask first if they would be willing to be interviewed. So Howie and Nick were kind enough to be part of it. Let's see who else wants to join the party. All right, guys. Have a great night. We're gonna enjoy the rest of our night off, and we'll talk to you soon. Ciao.
Night.